Okay. Yep.
The Syrian Vice President made statements to the effect that they are ready to engage the opposition, and there is absolutely no military solution to the violence that is ongoing in Syria. Do you have any reaction to this statement?
Well, we obviously saw the statement by Farouk al-Shara.
Syria's Vice President Farouk al-Shara has told a Lebanese newspaper that neither the forces of President Bashar al-Assad nor opposition fighters are able to win the war in Syria. According to Lebanese daily Al-Akhbar, Sara said the situation in the country was heading from bad to worse. He noted that a historic settlement involving the formation of a national unity government with broad powers was needed to end the conflict. Assad has ultimate power in Syria, while Shara, a Sunni Muslim, has a ceremonial role in a power structure dominated by Assad's Alawite minority. Shara, 74, has served Assad's government for decades, both under Assad and his father and predecessor, Hafez al-Assad. But he has been seen in public only a few times since the crisis erupted in March last year. His comments to Al-Akhbar were his first published statement since July last year.
Clearly, this speaks to the pressure that the Syrian regime is under. Regrettably, however, it hasn't changed the regime's behavior, including the brutality it's inflicting on its own people. I think you saw that we put out a statement just before I came down about the latest assaults on neighborhoods outside of Damascus, including this neighborhood that is home to a lot of the Palestinian refugees in Syria.
الله أكبر دمشق 17/12/2012 الله أكبر انقصف على المخيم
Yeah, but just to follow, if, let's say, the president himself of Syria comes out to say, we are open for a dialogue and we will have like a 48-hour ceasefire period or a week ceasefire period so we can get talks going, would that be something that the United States could conceivably support?
Well, Saeed, I'm certainly not going to get into hypothetical situations when it comes to Bashar al-Assad, especially given his track record. But we have said from the beginning that the first step is for the regime to stop its violence, and that we would be open to any kind of a transitional conversation that Syrians are prepared to have.
Lastly, today the opposition, the Syrian regime claimed that the opposition might be in possession of chemical weapons and they could conceivably use it.
Was there a question there? I mean, I don't have any information.
Sorry, do you have any information on that?
I do not. I do not.
Now, the Syrian government reiterates that it will never use chemical weapons against the Syrian people. It will never use chemical weapons against the Syrian people. It will never use chemical weapons against the Syrian people. It will never use chemical weapons against the Syrian people. This time, Damascus was addressing the United Nations on the issue. The comment follows accusations by the US and its allies that there are signs Damascus wants to use chemical arms as fighting rages on between the government forces and foreign-backed insurgents. Damascus says it is in fact the militants who may resort to chemical weapons. This, Damascus says, after terrorist groups gained control of a factory producing toxic chlorine in the city of Aleppo. Recently, a shocking video emerged showing insurgents testing chemical weapons in Syria. The video shows lab rabbits collapsing and dying after inhaling some sort of poisonous chemical mixed by a man in the footage. After the test, the group threatened to use the toxic gas against Syria's pro-Assad Alawite population. Damascus says the US accusations aim to intensify the psychological and media warfare against the government. Let's put this into context. I'm joined from Washington by Mr. James Jadrus, former U.S. Senate Foreign Policy Analyst. Welcome to the program. So, Mr. Jadrus, I mean, how much are we going to see an Iraqi-style scenario in Syria with regards to these chemical weapons?
It's hard to know where to draw the line between what may be a genuine concern about chemical weapons and what is an Iraqi-style accusation of WMDs that will be used as a pretext for intervention. I think the truly scary thing here is the prospect of weapons falling into the hands of some of the rebels, the people we know that are affiliated with radical Sunni jihad groups.
Have you noticed any change in the Russian position?
Well, we talked quite a bit last week about our...
Since the comments that were made and then retracted.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are continuing to try to make clear that if Mr. Brahimi thinks that these consultations that we are having, US, Russia, UN, can be helpful to the process, we're ready to have another round. But I wouldn't say that beyond the conversation that we had here last week, we've seen much movement one way or the other.
You don't, the three Bs are, there's nothing definitive coming up.
There's nothing scheduled. The next planned meeting we expect will be called by Mr. Brahimi when he thinks it'll be useful, but he hasn't asked for one yet. Please.
Lebanon?
Yeah.
The State Department and the Treasury designated Michel Samaha as put him on the terrorist list. Doing so after charges have been, after he has been accused of things. Do you have any concern that it may put undue pressure on the judiciary during the trial, the coming trial?
The judiciary in Lebanon is what you're concerned about.
Yeah.
First of all, just to make sure everybody's aware of what we're talking about here, the Department of State has designated Michel Samaha as a specially designated global terrorist under Section 1B of Executive Order 13224. Currently, the Treasury Department has designated him as a specially designated national pursuant to Executive Order 13441. This is on the grounds that he has undermined Lebanon's democratic process or institutions, contributed to the breakdown in the rule of law of Lebanon, and supporting the reassertion in trying to support the reassertion of Syrian control or otherwise contributing to Syrian interference in Lebanon. Specifically on October 12th, 2012, he provided explosives and cash to his paid accomplices at his residence, and on October 9th, the Lebanese internal security forces arrested him and brought him into the headquarters. We make, as you know, our designations on the basis of our own inquiry and our own evaluation of the events, and we have made this determination based on the information that is available to us that we believe to be credible and to be legitimate for the purposes of designation, which is separate and apart from what may happen in the Lebanese judicial case.
With the Lebanese?
We do it in consultation with the Lebanese, but we have every reason to be confident in our information here.
Go back to Mr. Samaha designation.
Yeah.
I mean, him being an agent of the Syrian government is no secret. They were even a client of his PR firm. So this designation obviously comes after the explosive thing. So isn't it preempting the trial?
No, this is based on our own understanding of events, our own information with regard to the activities that he was directly involved in, and our commitment to ensuring that Assad supporters can't destabilize neighboring countries.